Now let us discuss about some properties of modulus. Some properties of modulus. Okay? Please keep your pen and paper ready so that you must make a note of this. First thing is that modulus of z square can always be written as z bar. Yes or no? Because if z is x plus iota y, then what is z bar? Z bar is nothing but x minus iota y. Now if I go for multiplication of z bar, we are going to have x square minus iota square y square, which gives us x square plus y square. Again, what is mod z? Mod z is under root x square plus y square. Therefore, mod z square is nothing but your z bar. So this is the first property of modulus. You must remember it. Number 2. Modulus of product of n complex numbers is same as modulus of the individual complex numbers. Okay? Remember this. Third one. This is a very important thing. This came from the triangular law of inequality. If any complex number z1 and z2 is there, two complex numbers we are considering, z1 and z2, right? These are the two complex numbers. So this is always true for any two complex numbers, which is less than equals to mod of z1 plus minus z2. Whether it is plus or minus doesn't matter. The thing remains same. Less than equals to modulus of z1 plus z2. This is very, very important property. You all should remember this. This is the triangular law of inequality. Number 4. Modulus of z1 by z2. This can be written as mod of z1 by mod of z2. I'm not going for its proof part. You can do this proof by yourself. It's pretty simple. Number 5. You must remember this term called unimodular. Unimodular means the modulus is 1. What is unimodular? Modulus of that complex number is 1. That is called unimodular. Number 6. Mod of z1 plus z2 square plus mod of z1 minus z2 square is always 2 times mod of z1 square plus z2 square. Okay, this you can prove by yourself. These are pretty simple, I'm telling you, because mod of z1 plus z2 you can write it as z1, because as I told you, mod of z square is always z into z bar. So mod of z1 plus z2 square can be written as z1 plus z2 into z1 plus z2 bar. Multiply. Same thing here, and you will see the like terms will cancel, and we will be left with 2 times mod of z1 square plus z2 square. If you cannot do those proofs, please comment me. I will definitely reply, and I will give you its proof part also. I will make a new video to give all those proof. First, you try it. If you cannot do, please mention it in the comment section. Number 7. Mod of z to the power n is same as mod of z whole to the power n. And this is the most important one. Mod of z is same as mod of z bar. From graphically, from normal way, in both way you can prove this, because if this is z, your z bar is the mirror image of this point z. So modulus of z and modulus of z bar, this length will not change. Therefore mod of z is same as mod of z bar. Okay. Now if I take minus z, what is minus z? Can you tell me? If z is x plus iota y, that is the point x comma y. What is minus z? Minus z is nothing but minus x minus y. So the point comes here. So in that case also, your modulus will remain same, because this length will not change. So it is same as modulus of minus z. It is same as modulus of minus z bar, because z bar is this point. So minus of z bar will be somewhere here. Yes or no? Yes or no? But this length will remain same in that case also. So we must remember mod z is same as mod of z bar is same as mod of minus z is same as mod of minus z bar. Is it clear? Okay, let us now come for some basic properties of argument. So basic properties of argument. Argument of any complex number. Say, in an eigenplane, if a point lies on the x-axis, that is, its argument will be what? What is the argument of any complex number which lies on the positive direction of the x-axis? Tell me. Because we know, again, we are talking about argument means we are talking about the principal value of the argument, not the least positive argument. Okay. So we know that for the principal value of the argument, your theta always lies between minus pi and pi. Okay. So when z is on the positive direction of the x-axis, definitely z is real, because any point on the x-axis is real and any point on the y-axis is imaginary. Okay. Purely imaginary. Now, what is the argument of z when z lies on the positive direction of the x-axis? Naturally, it will be 0 because it is falling within this range. Now, if that point z is on the negative direction of the x-axis, then your argument of z will be nothing but pi. Again, consider this range you must always keep in your mind, because this is the principal value of the argument. Here you cannot write this is minus pi because your theta will not take the value minus pi. Hence the argument of z when the point is on the negative direction of the x-axis is pi. When the z is on the positive direction of the y-axis, then argument of z is pi by 2. And when the point is in the negative, on the negative direction of the y-axis, then argument of z is minus pi by 2. Am I correct or not? Am I correct or not? So always remember this thing, that if argument of z, this is number one, if arg of z is pi by 2 or minus pi by 2, that is, it is lying on the y-axis, so z is purely imaginary. If argument of z is 0 or pi, then z is purely real. Yes? Because it is lying on the x-axis. Number 3. Suppose there are two complex numbers z1 and z2. If you go for its multiplication and you take its argument, it will, the properties will behave something same like log. We know that log AB is nothing but log A plus log B. In this case also, argument of z1 into z2 can be written as argument of z1 plus argument of z2. But in this case, what I will do, I will add a 2k pi over here, where k takes any value either minus 1 or 0 or 1. Now the question is, why I have given 2k pi? Because as we all know that whenever we are talking about the argument, we are talking about its principal range. So it may so happen that after calculating this, it may cross this principal range. So according to that, suppose if it is more than pi, what I will do, I will take k as minus 1 to reduce it and to force it to fall within the principal range. Is it clear? That is why we have added 2k pi over here. Right? If it goes beyond this range, we will manipulate k accordingly. The only values of k that it can take is minus 1, 0 or 1. Okay? So we will put it and we will adjust it so that the argument of that complex number falls within minus pi and pi, which is the principal argument. Again, I am mentioning. Argument of z1 by z2, same as log. Log a by b is log a minus log b. So in this case, it will be argument of z1 minus argument of z2, again plus 2k pi. Number 5, remember this, argument of z bar is same as minus of argument of z. Number 6, argument of z to the power n is same as your n argument of z. Again, we have to add 2k pi over here. Okay, again I'm telling you, k can take the value -1, 0 or 1 to adjust it to fall within the principal range. Is it clear to all of you? So these are the properties of argument. We people must remember it. Is it clear? Now let us just discuss about some properties of conjugate. Properties of conjugate of a complex number. If z is x1 plus iota y1, then conjugate z bar is x1 minus iota y1. We have already learned the first property, that is z bar is nothing but your z. This is the first property we have already discussed. Number 2. Now think about it. If I go for z plus z bar, what we are going to have? If I go for z plus z bar, we are going to have, if I add this and this, we are going to have 2x1. 2x1 is nothing but 2 real part of z. Yes or no? Is it clear? So from here we can also say that real part of z can be represented by z plus z bar by 2. Similarly, you see, if I go for z minus z bar, what you are going to have from here? x1 plus iota y1 minus x1 plus iota y1. That gives you 2 iota y1, which is nothing but, what is y1? y1 is the imaginary part of z. So imaginary part of z is nothing but z minus z bar divided by 2 iota. Yes or no? So remember this way, the real part of z can also be represented by z plus z bar by 2. Imaginary part of z can also be represented by z minus z bar by 2 iota. 4. If z is equals to z bar, then we can write x1 plus iota y1 is equals to x1 minus iota y1. Now look at carefully. In this case, your x1 goes off. So 2 iota y1 is 0. That implies y1 is 0. What does it mean? That for a complex number, your y1 is coming to 0. That means it is purely real number. Is it clear? So when z is equals to z bar, we will say z is purely real number. Yes? Okay. Number 5. Now suppose if z is equals to minus of z1, then what happen? Then in that case, what will happen? x1 plus iota y1 equals to minus of x1 plus iota y1. In that case, this 2 goes off. So we are having 2x1 is 0 implies x1 is 0. That means for a complex number, the real part coming to be 0. That implies that z is purely imaginary. Tell me yes or no. Number 6. z1 plus z2 plus dot dot zn whole bar is same as your z1 bar plus z2 bar plus it goes on zn bar. Okay. Number 7. This is also true for multiplication. z1, z2, zn whole bar is same as your z1, z2 bar, z3 bar, zn bar. Okay. Both are true for addition as well as for multiplication. Number 8, which is again very important. z1 by z2 whole bar is same as your z1 bar by z2 bar. Is it clear? So we can write in this way also. So these are the basic properties of modulus, argument and conjugate of any complex number. Let us consider two complex numbers, x1 plus iota y1 and x2 plus iota y2. And let me plot it on an Argand plane. Say one point is here, z1 is x1 plus iota y1, and this one is a z2, it is x2 comma y2. This is the origin. So if I join this and this, let me join this. Let us give a name. This point be A and this point be B. Let us assume that argument of z1 is theta 1 and argument of z2 be theta 2. That is, this angle is theta 1 and this angle is theta 2. This is theta 2 and this is theta 1. So this angle is nothing but theta 1 minus theta 2. Is it clear? Now one thing we must remember, what is conjugate of complex number z1? It is nothing but x1 minus iota y1. Now you tell me, real part of z1, is it different from the real part of z1 bar? No. Yes or no? Only the imaginary part changes, but the real part remains same. So now you tell me, what is real part of z1 z2 bar? This is same as the real part of z1 z2 bar whole bar, because real part of z1 is same as real part of z1 bar. So from here we can write it is real part of z1 bar, z2 bar bar. So it gives you real part of z1 bar, z2. So what we have learned basically is real part of z1 z2 bar is same as your real part of z1 bar z2. It's a very important point. Okay. Now you see, from the triangle OAB, by applying the cosine rule, cos theta 1 minus theta 2 gives you OA square plus OB square minus AB square divided by 2 times OA into OB. Is it clear? OA square is basically Z1 square, OB square is Z2 square, and AB square, that is this distance, is nothing but modulus of Z1 minus Z2 whole square divided by 2 times Z1 Z2. Is it clear or not? Always remember, modulus of Z1 minus Z2 represents the distance between the points Z1 and Z2. You can do it numerically. If I put Z1 minus Z2, the values x1 plus iota y1 and x2 plus iota y2, you are going to get equals to under root x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. It's a pretty simple calculation. So mod of z1 minus z2 always represents the distance between the 2 points z1 and z2. So that is why AB square can be replaced by z1 minus z2 whole square. Okay. So from this equation we can write because we all know that mod z square can be written as z bar. That's exactly what I have done. So we can write it like this. Now if I multiply, what we are going to have? So if I open the brackets, z1 into z1 bar gives us mod z1 square This is mod z2 square, so this goes off. So we are left with is it clear? So what we got basically is 2 mod of z1 z2 cos theta 1 minus theta 2 is z1 z2 bar plus z2 z1 bar. Yes or no? Absolutely. Now you see, real part of z1 z2 bar can be written as z1 z2 bar plus Z1 Z2 bar whole bar divided by 2. Because what is the formula? Real part of Z can always be written as Z plus Z bar by 2. That's exactly what I've done here. So this will give you what? Z1 Z2 bar plus Z1 bar Z2 bar divided by 2. And if we cross multiply, we are going to have 2 times real part of Z1 Z2 bar is Z1 Z2 bar plus Z1 bar Z2. Is it clear or not? Therefore, what we have learned basically here, in this equation, we can replace Z1 Z2 bar plus Z2 Z1 bar by 2 real part of Z1 Z2 bar. Therefore, the final formula that we got basically is here. 2 real part of Z1 Z2 bar is same as 2 real part of Z1 bar Z2 is equals to Z1 Z2 bar plus Z2 Z1 bar, which is same as 2 times Z1 Z2 mod cos theta 1 minus theta 2, where theta 1 is arg of Z1 and theta 2 is arg of Z2. Have you understood this? So remember this as a formula. This is a very important formula. We will need this frequently. Okay? Find the modulus of 1 minus iota by 3 minus 4 iota. One thing you must remember, whether we are trying to find out the modulus or argument, whatever, you always convert the complex number, the given complex number, in the form of x plus iota y. Every time you convert it in terms of x plus iota y, after this conversion, it will be easy for us to calculate its modulus or argument or its conjugate. Okay? So always convert it in terms of x plus iota y, whatever form has been given to us. That form has to be converted in terms of x plus iota y. So 1 minus iota by 3 minus 4 iota, I can multiply both numerator and denominator with its conjugate, whatever there is in the denominator, that is 3 minus 4 iota. So I am multiplying numerator and denominator with its conjugate like 3 plus 4 iota. So we are getting if I multiply iota square is minus 1, so this one will become plus 4. So 7 plus iota by 25. Is it clear? So this is 7 by 25 plus iota 1 by 25, which is in the form of x plus iota y, where x is 7 by 25 and y is 1 by 25. Now if you want to find the modulus of, so what you will do, you will simply write under root so it will give you what? Under root. So that gives us and that's your answer. Is it clear? Either you can do it by this method or else you can do it by, we know a property that mod of Z1 by Z2 is mod of Z1 by mod of Z2. So mod of 1 minus iota by 3 minus 4 iota can be written as mod of 1 minus iota by mod of 3 minus 4 iota. Mod of 1 minus iota is under root 1 square plus 1 square divided by mod of 3 minus 4 iota is under root 3 square plus 4 square. That gives us what? Root 2 by root over of 25. So it's root 2 by 5. Is it clear? So you can do it by either method. Okay. Find the modulus of 2 by 1 plus cos theta plus iota sin theta. So this sum I will do it by the second method. You can try it with the first method also. Doesn't matter. You will get the same answer. So modulus of is same as modulus of 2 by modulus of. So this can be written as modulus of 2 is 2, and in the denominator we are going to have Is it clear? So let me open it. Sin square theta plus cos square theta will give you 1. So under root 2 plus 2 cos theta (1 plus cos theta) can be written as 2 cos square theta by 2. So that gives us mod of cos theta by 2. That gives us mod of sec theta by 2. Because we know that anything which is coming out of a root sign is always with a mod sign. We don't know anything about theta. That is why we have given a positive sign over there. I mean the mod sign over there. Is it clear? Therefore, the modulus of the given expression, the given complex number, is nothing but mod of sec theta by 2. Okay, let us just move for another problem. The question is, find the argument of 1 plus iota into root 3 plus iota. Let me denote the complex number by z. If I multiply, we are going to have iota square is minus 1, so it is coming to root 3 minus 1 plus iota root 3 plus 1. Here, this is in the form of x plus iota y. Here, x is root 3 minus 1, which is greater than 0. Y is root 3 plus 1. Again, this is greater than 0. That is, the point is lying in the first quadrant. So here, alpha is tan inverse y by x, which is nothing but tan inverse root 3 plus 1 by root 3 minus 1. Now, root 3 plus 1 by root 3 minus 1, if I simplify, that is, if we rationalize numerator and denominator, so we are having let me open the brackets. So it is coming to 2 plus root 3. Is it clear? Therefore, alpha is tan inverse 2 plus root 3. Now you have to know one thing, that what is the value of tan 15 degree? Tan 15 degree is basically 2 minus root 3. This value you have to remember. As we know the value of sin 15 and cos 15, sin 15 is root 3 minus 1 by 2 root 2. Cos 15 is root 3 plus 1 by 2 root 2. So if we divide and rationalize, we are going to have tan 15 as 2 minus root 3. Therefore, cot 15 is how much? Is 1 by 2 minus root 3, and if we rationalize, we are going to have 2 plus root 3 only. Therefore, cot 15 degree is 2 plus root 3 is same as tan 90 minus 15 is 2 plus root 3 implies tan 75 degree is 2 plus root 3, which is nothing but your tan 5 pi by 12, which is 2 plus root 3. Therefore, your alpha is nothing but tan inverse tan 5 pi by 12, which is nothing but 5 pi by 12. Is it clear? But since it is lying in the first quadrant, hence the argument of the complex number z is nothing but theta, which is equals to alpha. Therefore, argument is nothing but 5 pi by 12, and that's your answer. Is it clear? Absolutely. Now we can do by the using formula also in that case. Here argument, we know that argument of z1 into z2 is always written as argument of z1 plus argument of z2. And 2k pi is there. Okay. Now here argument of these two complex numbers will be what? It is argument of 1 plus iota plus argument of root 3 plus iota. So what we are getting basically, argument of 1 plus iota means, let me do it here. Argument of 1 plus iota means what? Here x is 1, y is 1, falling in the first quadrant. alpha is nothing but tan inverse 1, which is pi by 4. Okay, therefore your argument is pi by 4. So here it is pi by 4. Now what about this argument of root 3 plus iota? Again, x is root 3, y is 1. Therefore your alpha is nothing but tan inverse 1 by root 3, which is tan inverse pi by 6. Yes or no? Sorry, tan inverse tan pi by 6. So that gives you pi by 6 only. Therefore argument of this is pi by 6. Okay, and 2k pi is there. Now you see, by adding pi by 4 and pi by 6, what we are going to have? LCM will be 12. 3 pi plus 2 pi plus 2k pi. Now here it is 5 pi by 12 plus 2k pi. Now since 5 pi by 12 is very much within this range, within the principal value of the argument, hence here we will take k as 0. Therefore the required argument of z will be 5 pi by 12. Either you can do it by this method or you can do it by this method. Choice is yours. Is it clear? Now let me just do another sum and we will end this video. The question is, if x, y are real and x plus 3 iota and minus 2 plus iota y are conjugate to each other, find the value of x and y. What they have said, x plus 3 iota and minus 2 plus iota y, they are conjugate to each other. It means what? It means that the conjugate of this number is same as x plus 3 iota. Is it clear? One is the conjugate of the other. Okay, either you can write in this way or else you can write in this way also. Both meaning are same in this question. So from here we can write x plus 3 iota is minus 2 minus iota y, because conjugate of any complex number is simply replace the sign of iota, we will get its conjugate. If it is plus, write down minus. If it is minus, write down plus. Therefore, if we compare the real, because here two complex numbers are equal, therefore we can compare its real and imaginary part. So x will be minus 2 and your y minus y will be 3, implies y equals to minus 3. Therefore, the required value of x is minus 2 and y as minus 3. Is it clear? I hope you people have all understood. So in the next video, we will move for a very interesting part of complex number. See you then. Take care.